Hey, good morning, everybody. This is our fifth live streaming session for NCYC group leaders regarding the National Catholic Youth Conference taking place in 2019. So thanks for joining us. Just a couple of housekeeping things as we get going. This is going to be a very brief, a lot of me throwing some stuff at you. It shouldn't be very long today. I've said that before. If you want to jump in the chat, that's a great way to ask questions in the middle of the conversation. You can do that by watching this via YouTube. So if you're watching this on the group leaders page, just click on the link there and it'll open you up in YouTube. And then you can follow along the chat. There's already 3 people in the chat, so that's really affirming. That's wonderful. It warms my heart. Anyway, so happy week before Holy Week. Here we are still getting prepped for something going on in November as we got the celebration of the resurrection of Jesus coming up here in just a little while. Not that we're anticipating, but that's Advent. Anyway, all right, let's move into what we got to talk about today. So just a few things to look at when we're talking about NCYC 2019 that I want to go through with you. So today we're going to just do a few things, a delegation update, just talk a little bit about the details of our delegation. And some of the changes that have happened recently. Talk just to update on financial assistance. I sent some stuff out earlier this month on that. And look at all that affirmation. I got like 6 more people have said something. Oh, 7. Oh my gosh, everybody's here. Okay, cool. All the cool people are already watching live. All right, so no offense to you guys who are watching this like tonight or something. Financial assistance, I want to talk about that a little bit. I sent something out a few times. Just want to make sure everybody's aware of the resources that are available to get help to the people who need it. I want to talk about Youth Faith Mentor Update, but then I'm going to spend significant time, I think, on social media at NCYC and beyond. There's a couple things that have come across my desk presentations I've seen in the last few weeks that I think bear some discussion. So I want to talk about that as we move forward. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please feel free to enter them into the chat. I will be keeping an eye on that, and I will respond as soon as I can. So just so you know, a delegation update. We have sent out invoices already last week for the April payment of $150 per person. Those invoices should have gone to your bookkeepers. I know that some of your parishes are awesome and responsible and have already submitted payment, so you're already good to go. If there has been any kind of a group size change in your group, either your numbers have gone down or your numbers have gone up, please do not adjust the amount you pay on the invoice. Pay the invoice as it is and communicate those group size changes to me. What we will do is if you pay too much or too little, we will take care of that at the next billing cycle coming up here in June. Just a couple months away. So what will happen if you've got fewer people going now and you're able to sell those spots to another parish, you will get a credit for all the payments you made for those additional spots that'll reflect on the next billing cycle. So rather than you reduce the invoice amount, that just really goofs up our finance office. They're looking for a specific number to come back. Another thing is if you are representing more than one parish, please have all parishes in your group pay their portion to one parish and have one parish send the payment in. So if we bill your group $3,000 and we get 3 checks for $1,000, it's just really hard to know where that money's supposed to go. So we spend it all on like slushy machines. I'm kidding. We don't have slushy machines. All right, so that's the invoices piece. Delegation size, we are still growing. We've heard from a few parishes recently that are either thinking about coming on as a group or jumping onto other people's. So we might be adding another 15, 20 people just in the next few weeks here. I've actually heard from a parish outside of our diocese. Their diocese does not do an NCYC delegation, so they're looking at driving a few hours to get on one of our buses to go. So we are no longer expanding just within parishes in the Archdiocese, but we're taking over the world. So our current delegation size is quickly approaching 1,700. I think we will probably settle in the 1,725 range, all said and done for the June invoices. So kudos to you for everything you do to make this experience available to your young people. And all the work you're doing is fundraising and everything else you're doing. I'm just really stoked how much you all love your young people and are inviting them to know Jesus through the National Catholic Youth Conference. So good for you. If you're going to do a change to your group size, if anything has happened, please let me know. As soon as you think that number is going to change, we'll get you on the buy-sell list. What that means is if you have bought too many spots, you've already made payments for more than you need, my hope is that I'll be able to sell that spot to another parish. They will pay more. You will get a credit. It works out pretty well. Same thing if you're going to grow your group. We'll keep you on a list of parishes looking to buy spots. If no spots come up for sale, at this point, we can still just add you to the whole fold. So if you want to add 4 more spots and I can't find a parish that's willing to give up 4 spots, come the end of May, we will simply add those spots on. But here's what I want you to do. So they won't officially reflect in your group leader portal when it says like group number, group size. It'll say whatever your current number is, but down below, there'll be a note that says you're on the list to buy 4 spots. Please register those 4 people, even if they haven't officially been counted in your numbers yet. So there might be some bad math going on in the group leader portal, but please make sure you register those numbers, because by the end of May, we need those numbers and all the registration information to be as complete as possible. So that we can get that registration done for the $225 registration deadline coming up here in June. So again, your first deadline coming up is only a month and a half away. So I'm seeing a lot of activity going on, getting people and groups ready. So thanks for all your energy on that. Chaperone training sessions are in the works to be planned for October. I've only heard back from a few of the sites that I've asked out to, so I'm going to start moving on that probably, probably not Holy Week, but probably the week after. I'd like to have that lined up by the next group leader live stream, that I can have all of the October training sessions, so you can mark your calendars for those wonderful, delightful events coming up in October. I think there will probably be like cookies and like lemonade, so it'll be awesome. Just a reminder, we do have 2 partner dioceses that we're looking to support going to NCYC. One from San Bernardino, California, the other one from the Archdiocese of Anchorage, Alaska. We are hoping to raise $10,000 for each of these dioceses. The cost for them is about $1,500 per person to go to NCYC. So we're helping to subsidize that a little bit and bring their price more affordable so we can increase just the universal nature of this national conference. If you are doing a fundraiser or have asked your kids to just kick in $10 a person, that's our goal, that if every person in our delegation going to NCYC just $10, just as a personal contribution, as some kind of a stewardship gift to not only get themselves to the conference, but to really help somebody who couldn't go otherwise. Kick $10 in. If you can collect that money from your group, send a check to us here, make it out to the Archdiocese of Dubuque, but in the memo or in some kind of a note, say NCYC partner diocese, send that to us when you can. That's going to be helpful for us to generate that fund so we can help these people come to this conference and celebrate with us. That being said, each diocese is developing an introductory video, and they'll be sharing that with us as soon as we have it. So hopefully in the fall, as you're doing the final stuff for your group, we'll be able to use that as a way to help your young people and your adults know what the reality is like for these dioceses, to help you to encourage some more. We have already booked a facility at the Crown Plaza, which is right across the street from the convention center. It's not the Crown Plaza we're staying at, it's the one downtown Indianapolis. They have buffets on Friday and Saturday night. We've already booked a room for Friday night so that we can have a host dinner with our partner dioceses. We're going to be looking for about 20 people from our diocese to represent the whole state of Iowa, really the whole Midwest, in a kind of like a little mini cultural exchange going on. So we'll have about an hour-and-a-half program, which will include a buffet. It'll be a pasta buffet that night. So we haven't decided how we're going to figure out who those 20 people are yet. But my hunch is that a group that commits a lot of money to helping these dioceses get there will certainly be more likely to be a part of that buffet experience. All right, so here's a tag-along piece to that. If you are looking for a place to get your whole group together and say your group is bigger than 20 people, contact the Crown Plaza downtown Indianapolis and see if you can reserve some tables for this buffet. The price seems expensive, but the idea of having a guaranteed space for a lot of people to get together, I think they can sit like 400 people. So like even Annie Zietz's group of 200 could go there if she wanted to. But on Friday night, it's going to be a pasta buffet, and I think it'll be about $17 plus tip and gratuity. So altogether coming out to about $20 a person, maybe 22. And then on Saturday night, it's going to be like a Mexican buffet, like a taco bar. And I think that'll be like $5 more expensive per person. Like I said, I know those prices sound outrageous, but the idea of having a table ready for you to go sit down at and have a buffet experience for that price might be worth looking into. So if you want to do that for your group, I know they haven't quite promoted this out to all of the country yet. When we were talking to them about our need for the partner dioceses, they got pretty excited that we had this many people. So reach out to them. If you are at Crown Plaza, downtown Indianapolis, it's a skywalk connected to the convention center directly, so you won't even have to go outdoors to walk next door and get a big buffet food for your kids. And I think that they can you can just pay it all with one check if you want to. I think that's probably going to be the best way to do it, or pay by credit card. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but figure it out with them. All right, cool. Let's move on. All right, so as we're collecting the registration process for all of the participants, we are asking you as the group leaders to please start the process for verifying your adults to make sure they're protection of children compliant or safe environment compliant. To do this, on the bottom of the individual registration form, there's a box that asks for dates of their most current background check and their Catholic Mutual Group CMG Safe Environment Training. Your Safe Environment Coordinator, each parish has a Safe Environment Coordinator. They should be able to access this data and give you the dates of the most current background check, if it's a historic background check or if it's a gold standard background check. They should be able to tell you those dates and when they completed, if they completed the CMG training. That's the first step. So just go find those dates from your Safe Environment Coordinator. When you put those dates into the group leader portal, when you register those adults, we as a process here that we have somebody, one of our admin support staff here in the building is checking all of those dates as they come in and actually just verifying them as compliant. It takes her about 3 minutes if everything's done right. So it's real quick and easy. And then they'll be reflected on your group leader portal as compliant. So if you were to log in and look at your roster, on the right side of every person's name, it'll give you some status for your adults. If they say SEC dates needed, that means you need to go to your Safe Environment Coordinator and get those dates and plug them into their participant record. If we do not have any dates entered, we are not going to run a compliance check here. Now, please register your people because we do need their names and all that information for our registration process, which, like I said, is due to we have to do that in the it's due at the end of June. So we have all of June we have to get all that stuff done. We will register your people even if they're not compliant, but your group will not be done and Jim Bessner will be hounding you until you get those things finished. So we'll be communicating with you probably early next month, early in May, about what information we're still needing to complete that registration process, and an update on the status of your adults will be part of that communication. If you have any questions, you should be able to lock in your group leader portal and check out that status at any time. But in the meantime, I'm sure Jim will be communicating with you. Also, be sure to get your forms into us as soon as possible. We do need those by the end of May. That's an absolute. If you don't have your forms in or the registration completed on the group leader portal by the end of May, you can still do it. It's just going to be $20 more per person because that's the early bird deadline we're getting into for a discounted registration if we can finish the delegation registration by the end of June. So that's why this timeline comes into place. We don't want to say no or close the door to anybody. But my gosh, it's best for everyone if you can get those forms into us in early May, if possible. In fact, it would be great if you could bring them to the Faith Formation Leader gatherings on either May 2nd or May 3rd. That'd be a great time to bring your forms to us. There's also a Pastoral Leadership Study Day coming up here in a couple weeks, April 25th. You can bring your forms then as well. And if I have to bring a wheelbarrow to bring them all back to Jim, I will be happy to do that. All right. So let's talk about financial assistance. You should have got an email from me, I think, last week. I think this came out like early April. I want to say April Fools. It came out, but the deadline is actually coming up here the end of April. So May 1st, I think all of those applications need to come to my office. We'll talk about this process in a little bit. And then you'll start hearing whether or not you're actually going to get assistance from the NCYC probably by next month. And then we'll figure out how that all works out as far as whether or not they give us a check or whether they pay you a check or whether they give us a discounted rate. I don't know how that's all going to work yet, but let's get the applications in and we'll figure that part out once money is collected. So here's the deal. So by step one is no later than May 1st, you need to complete the application and send it to me. All of the applications go to the delegation leader. That just happens to be me. And then I compile them and send the federation, the NFCYM, which is the National Federation for Catholic Youth Ministry. I also send the federation the compilation of the applications, and then they will process it from there. So if you do need help with the application, there's some stuff that says like, what were your 2017 numbers? How much assistance are you going to get locally? All of that kind of stuff. Let me know. And we can give you that information, especially if you weren't in charge of your group last time. I don't know if there's any way you would know that information. So just let me know. So like step 2, I send the stuff in. Step 3, we hear back and get paid. As far as I know, that's the process. Now, coming along with this, we also have an Archdiocese financial assistance package as well for low income discount and for a hardship discount. Jim and I have already received a lot of those applications. We're going to start processing those soon. The forms are due April 31st, which is about the same time that the national assistance packages are due. And I want to be able to answer questions about the national assistance. I want to know what we're doing locally before I process that stuff on May 1st. So if there's anybody in your delegation who could use financial assistance, either they're low income, which means they qualify for free or reduced price school lunch, or they're going through a hardship, divorce, death of a loved one, a difficult time, social, maybe they just moved, whatever. If somebody's going through a significant part of their life where they could really use 4 days to explore who Jesus is in their life, and that's why they're going to NCYC, that's a hardship, and we want to give them some assistance. Hardship discounts $150, low income discounts $300, and those will be applied as credits into your group in the June payment and the September payment. But please get those sent to us as soon as you can have them, and encourage your people, anybody you know who could use assistance. We set aside, I think, $15,000 a year, and we've never used it all. And so we right now have about half as many applications as we received even in 2017. So there's money still to take advantage of. So please, we want everybody to go who can. Let's make that helpful. All right. Another just quick update. We do have a participant journal that is designed and ready to go out. This is a hard copy version. It's 8.5 by 5.5. It's like a half sheet booklet. We went with a full sheet booklet last time, and people said that was crazy, and you all out there designed your own half sheet. So we have a half sheet version of this. Cost us $3, and we'll ship it to you. So just all you got to do is go in your group leader portal. I think this is current, and I can't open up the database this morning, but I think you should be able to plug in how many journals you need, and if you plug that number in, if you can, we will get that processed and shipped to your site. We'll start working on that probably the week after Easter. If you cannot do it in the database, just shoot me an email with how many journals you want and where we should ship them. And in fact, that's not a bad idea. Even if you do put it on the website or on the database, the group leader portal, if you just shoot me an email, letting us know to process that. Now, here's the fun thing about this. There's a PDF version available as well. We're going to try to get that up on the group leader page if it's not already, so you can download it and print it off locally if you want to. The odds are you will not probably be able to print it at $3 a piece when you think about real costs, because it's quite substantial, and you probably wouldn't be able to do it in color for sure for $3. So it might be cheaper to do through us, but if you want to do it yourself, you feel free to take the PDF, take pages out you don't want to use, and make your own version of it. This is free. It's a service we provide for you because you're awesome people. Also, we are trying to generate this into an app version so our young people can actually open up the journal via an NCYC from the Arch app, so they can do reflection questions, etc., etc. All right, so here's a question. When we work on the NFCYM application, does local assistance include Arch assistance? If there's not a line otherwise that says Archdiocesan assistance or diocesan assistance, then I would assume that means yes, that the Archdiocese would be local. Okay, so thanks, Annie, for that question. Yeah, let me know if I can help you with that. We can talk sometime and look through it all. All right, so anyway, the journal thing, this is cool. Take advantage of it. Again, it's a free gift if you are interested in it. You may remember we talked a few months ago about a youth faith mentor training or youth accompaniment training. Well, we had a plan to develop some local resources, and that got kind of too big too quick, and then life happened, and so that's just not going to be happening. I do not anticipate us having a series of videos and worksheets to go through. And so that was our plan. That was a good plan back in October, November, and Anyway, here we are. So if you would like, I would make myself available to come out and meet with your NCYC chaperones. Other than the chaperone training, which is the chaperone trainings in October, are really all about logistics and what their specific role is for NCYC. But if you want me to come out and talk about how to facilitate a small group, how to do youth accompaniment, I'd be happy to come and do that. To meet at any site, if you could do that regionally, that would be great as far as just maximizing my time out of office. But that's kind of boring as me talking, right? So I do recommend, and thanks Annie for finding this resource. If you do a quick Google search for Call to Accompany from the Archdiocese of Atlanta, there's a series of videos, and there's a worksheet compendium piece that have reflection questions. It's pretty much everything I wanted to develop, but it's already done. And it's online, and as far as I know, it's free. So I'm going to reach out to them soon and see if we can actually give them something to compensate them for that, for their work, and then actually have permission to use it. But since it's online and the world of Google connects us to their free resources, I just say go take a look at it. I'm going to see if there's a way that we can still get you credit for going through that process. So we talked about if a group leader were to empower 6 adults in their community to be youth accompaniers, to be youth faith mentors, then we would give that group leader the registration rate. I think it was like $225 or $250. We give you a credit to your group, a free discount, because we are significantly convinced that NCYC is most effective when you are most effective at the local level. So if you're going to use NCYC to build a stronger parish ministry, we want to support that. So we will make NCYC cheaper for you if you are demonstrating that you are, in fact, building a thriving network of adults who are going to care for young people. So I'm going to look into that. I just stumbled onto this. Seriously, like I said, Annie found it and sent me the link, and I looked at it very quickly yesterday. And in my 10-15 minutes skimming through these videos, I would say it's probably the greatest thing I've seen for youth minister and youth ministry volunteer formation in a long time. So if you've already left this live stream because you are looking at Google for Call to Accompany under the Archdiocese of Atlanta, you are probably already better off than if you are still listening. That being said, if you're still listening, thanks for staying here. Okay. Social media. So we have a social media coordinator who's going to be doing this work for us. She's a young woman here at Loris, and she's excited about helping us out. So she's going to be doing some stuff before NCYC, during NCYC, and after NCYC using social media to connect with teenagers and their parents. Jeremy Jones, our IT guru upstairs in our communications division, is going to be coming along to NCYC as well, and he's going to help us communicate with you as group leaders and with our adults as chaperones. So we are going to have 4 target audiences: teenagers, their parents, chaperones, and group leaders. And that's how we're going to be communicating most of our stuff at NCYC. So before NCYC, we are hoping to develop a hashtag series where if you're doing prep stuff, or we can connect young people with other young people in the Archdiocese, we are hoping to develop that. We do have preparation sessions that have already been designed that I'd really recommend you take a look at in September, October, and November to gather your kids, not just for fundraising meetings or t-shirt design meetings or trading item meetings, but actually to talk about Jesus, because that's kind of the mission of the church. So we hope you do those prep sessions, and as you do that, connect with other groups via social media. During NCYC, Abby, our social media guru, will be doing daily videos. There will be a summative video each night coming out probably about 11:45, right when kids are getting nestled into bed with their phones, and we're trying to connect them positively with social media. She'll also be doing periodic check-ins, just updates about how's your morning going, how's your afternoon, how's your night, including some interviews of young people and sharing what's going on with our group. So we would encourage you to encourage your young people to connect with that social media process. And then after NCYC, again, the most important day of NCYC is the day we get back. But we're trying to explore some ways of continuing this discussion and connecting teenagers with each other in a, like I said, in a positive, reinforcing way, so that they have a social media community to keep them accountable to what they're excited about from this conference. So we will be using Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Those are the 3 apps we've used in the past, and I know that social media technology changes every 5 minutes, but those 3 still seem to be pretty static. So there's other ones that are out there that we are less excited to use, especially because of presentations we've heard recently. Let's see when the NCYC app is going to be available. I would guess November 24th of 2019. So I do not know, Martin. I'm sorry. That stuff tends to come out a lot later than we want it to, but with still ample time to actually be effective. So I would look for that really to come out not until the fall, probably mid-fall. Okay. All right. Um, if anyone has seen the 2019 NCYC teaser video, Father Allen is in it. Ooh, yeah, is that the one where he's in the procession? I think that's what you're referencing, Marcy. But anyway, yeah, Father Allen Dietzenbach, who's out at Marshalltown. All right, social media policy. This is another thing. Speaking of social media, we just came out with the new standards of conduct for the Archdiocese. If you have not read through the standards of conduct yet, you can find it in the Archdiocesan website under the Protection of Children office. This is actually a really good standards of conduct. I've been able to see other diocesan policies and conduct manuals, and the one that we have in our, I'm just really proud of it. I had nothing to do generating it. I just looked at it and I'm like, oh, I'm proud of my coworkers for putting this together. But there's one thing that we've gotten some feedback from that is difficult, and it's this line. It says you are never to have one-to-one electronic communication with minors, and this is a difficult thing. So if you're texting people, or if you're messaging them or posting, and it's a direct one-to-one private communication with a minor, that's an absolute no-no. There, and you might be doing it, and you're probably well-intentioned. But this is a dangerous field, and it's also not transparent. There's a lot of opportunity for anybody in ministry, anybody at all, to have potentially inappropriate conversations when it's one-to-one. And so we just want to make sure you are protected and your young people are protected. Here's a fun stat. So I've been through 3 presentations recently about teens using pornography, about human trafficking, and about cyber crimes. Thank you, Melanie, for pulling together the cybercrime presentation with Scott Frank. I'll be talking about him in just a little bit. But in all of these, one of the things we've learned is that one-to-one communications between vulnerable teenagers and predators is the primary way that they are being hurt. Okay, so one-to-one is just where the bad stuff is. So that's why we don't want you in that world, not in electronic communication, not without another adult as a part of that conversation. So here's what we want you to do is when you're communicating with minors, the best thing you do is communicate with everybody at the same time. Mass, group texts, or posts or messages, or very public communications is also great. If you need to communicate with one person directly, you need to have another adult in that conversation. This is something we're learning. I'm a treasurer for my Boy Scout troop. One of the boys wanted to email me about a Scout account. And so he emailed me, but these boys have been told and they've been taught. I mean, these are high school, middle school boys. They know that if they're going to send an email to an adult in the troop, they have to include another adult in the troop as well. So this boy who's 16 emailed me and our committee chair and said, "Hey, I got some receipts. When can I get paid?" I emailed him back and I copied the committee chair, and that's legit because that is not one-to-one electronic communication. So if Boy Scouts can do it, we care about our kids easily as much as Boy Scouts do. We're going to do the same thing. So we want to keep parents in the loop. We want to keep other adults in the loop. So make sure we are being transparent in our communications. That other adult does not have to be a parent, pastor. That'd be awesome, right? Make sure he knows everything you're saying to young people, gets him in the conversation. I think that could be great in a lot of different ways. A coworker, some other kind of protection of children compliant volunteer, whatever we can do to be transparent. How do we see this new standards of conduct? Like I said, it's in the Archdiocesan website, dbqarch.org. And then from there, click offices, and then click the Protection of Children office. While this policy is bigger than protection of children, that's just where it's housed. So that should help you find it and read it. It's good stuff. All right. So there are some solutions to help do this. Here's a few of them I got from my coworkers and my colleagues, my diocesan director friends who are in our region. We had an in-service about this I think it was Wednesday morning. So Flock Notes is a paid subscription. Remind is free. GroupMe is free. Google Voice is also free. These are ways that you can communicate and reduce or increase the transparency, reduce the risk you're bringing to yourself. So it allows you to communicate more in the open. I don't know if it'll be in the Google Drive. I do not think it will be in the Google Drive because it needs to be available for everybody. Google Drive is where we tend to put things that only people with an Archdiocesan Gmail account can access. So look to the website. Um, I am working. I know I've gotten a lot of feedback from youth ministry leaders about how do we do this for real? Like for real, how do we do this? Because we've been doing one-to-one communications for a long time. It's just the best way to work. So they're sending me a list of things and situations where this is a situation that has come up. I don't think your recommended solutions are going to work. Send those concerns to me, because if we're giving guidance that doesn't fly, it's not good help for you. So help me help you. Help me help you. You had me at hello. Okay. So here's one of the things we saw at in these presentations recently. So Scott Frank was brought into the northern part of our diocese. Melanie Vober was a key part of that. Martin Arndt opened up his facility for us to have a brief in-service with this guy named Scott Frank, who's here at the top. And he said that there were three needs of all people, and it's really all teenagers, but it's all everybody. They have a need for affection, a need for belonging, and a need for recognition. And if these needs aren't met, they're going to find someone online who will meet these needs for them. And so when you look at youth predators who are doing this online, predators take advantage of these needs. They recognize and affirm the snot out of these kids until they feel like they are really loved. They feel like they're a part of something special, and then they get taken. So that's the method that is used by predators online. Scott Frank's idea is that if predators, people who have a devious mind, who are trying to hurt these kids, can take advantage of meeting these needs, then we as a church, who our primary function is to serve and love everybody, that if we can meet these needs, which there's nobody better suited to meeting the needs of affection, belonging, and recognition than the Catholic Church. I mean, this is what we can do better than anybody. So his advice is that we should be present in social media, that we should be present on the internet and where they are, to make sure we're providing teenagers with affection, belonging, and recognition. So one of the things I'm hoping to do, unless somebody wants to take it, is take the new apostolic exhortation, which is directed towards young people, and do textables, tweetables, postables, little bits from that document that you can all be a part of sending out, again, to a wide audience, never to just one person alone, but to a wide audience, what our Pope says, to affirm, to make young people feel like they belong, to recognize them, and to let them know that they're loved, because that's what this document does. That's pretty cool. All right, so then I saw a presentation on Tuesday of this week, a gentleman named Russ Tuttle, who runs Stop Trafficking out of Kansas City. And what he said is true for almost all the situations with human trafficking, is that people who are maliciously checking into our young people are trying to exploit vulnerabilities. So the exploitation of vulnerabilities is what leads to every situation where somebody's taken advantage of. And these vulnerabilities are the same as these needs that Scott Franks was talking about. So here's what we want to do. We want to exploit the vulnerabilities of young people, but not to hurt them, because we want to introduce them to Jesus. So let's take advantage of where young people's needs are, and that's they're online looking for adults who love them. So here's a fun challenge from your diocesan director. Get where your young people are in social media, post, tweet, message, blog positively, and connect young people to each other so they can be positive influences of the world. That's a whole bunch of cool stuff. So check out Digital Empowerment Project online. Check out Stop Trafficking. Get more information. You can talk to, I guess Melanie Vober is going to have some resources. She's the one who brought Scott Frank in, if you want to reach out to her up in Cresco. Otherwise, there were a few of us in the presentation if you didn't join us via Zoom. So if you want to be a part of this conversation, please jump into it. We will be talking about this and other things on Friday, May 3rd, as the final piece of the Faith Formation Leader Conference and Retreat, that Friday, May 3rd, in Strawberry Point's Stone Center. If you want to come talk seriously about how we can meet needs where they are in their virtual struggles, that would be great to be part of that conversation as well. More on that later. One of the other things we learned from all these presentations is the importance of guiding parents. And so there's real quick stuff about how to talk to parents about, how to talk to their kids about social media. So when I heard the Scott Frank presentation, I was telling people I was listening to that 25% as a professional in youth ministry and 75% as a parent of an 11-year-old and a 13-year-old. And I was excited when I got back that night. I sat down with my kids and said, hey, I just went to a presentation, and here's the kind of stuff I was hearing. And it was because Scott did such a good job of empowering parents with real things to do in that conversation. I felt more emboldened and capable of having that conversation. And the response I got from my two kids, who generally don't like talking to their dad, because they're 13 and 11, They seemed so grateful to be able to actually put this in the open and have a real conversation about things. So some of his guidance to give to parents is no matter what your kids talk about or show you on their phones, don't freak out and get angry. They will never talk to you again. Don't threaten to take their phones away if somebody else is hurting them on their phone. So if somebody sends them a scary image, one of the things we as parents like to do is protect them from that. So we want to take their phones, but the threat of taking their phones is the single reason why our kids will not talk to their parents about this. So even if they feel hurt or victimized or wounded, they don't want to go talk to their parents because they still want to be connected, and that phone is their source of connection. So advise their parents not to threaten to take their phones away. We can certainly listen, and we can certainly limit their phones, but listen to the young people about what they're going through, because they know more about social media than you do. Congrats. Ways to keep their kids safe is to check their phones. Make sure their kids know that at any time parents can look at their kids' phones. There is no privacy rules that says that their phone is actually private. It's your phone as a parent. You can look in it anytime you want to, and as kids know that, they're going to be less inclined to take risky behaviors. Talk about what apps they're using and provide healthy alternative activities like go outside and fly a kite. Anyway, here we go. So moving forward, there's this Faith Formation Leader Conference and Retreat coming up May 2nd to the 3rd. The premier event for that is May 2nd with Dr. Sri coming in and talking about discipleship and Pope Francis of Parish Ministry. This will be a good day for us as Faith Formation leaders to all get together and just like be mindful of the mission that we're called to. We will be joined at the end of the day by Archbishop for a closing Mass. Immediately following Part A, which is that Thursday during the day, will be a transition over to the Strawberry Points Stone Center that's run by Camp Iwalu. The Stone Center is we've been there for the past few years, but we'll do some faith sharing. We'll do a supper and a retreat followed by a campfire that night, and you're welcome to join us. You can sign up for Part A or Part B or Part C or Part D or all of the above or any combination. If you want to stay overnight, you're welcome to do that. That's a bit more expensive, but we have a one package price for I think it's $100. Gives you all 4 of these, including the overnight stay. Campfire is a cool night just to kind of sit back and share about our faith and our struggles and on the reality of what we're going through in the field of faith formation. Part D, that youth ministry meeting, will be open to high school campus ministers, high school theology teachers, middle school theology teachers, or campus ministers as well. And youth ministers, anybody who does adolescent faith formation, whether you call yourself a youth minister, quote unquote, or not, anybody who works with adolescents, we're going to be talking really about the pastoral needs of young people involving social media, internet, pornography, theology of the body, stuff that young people are really struggling through. We're hoping it's going to be a real practical guidance to you and to each other about how do we intersect with this. Does the Dr. Sri talk on Wednesday night have anything to do with the FFL day on Thursday with him? Yes, he's the speaker at both. Ta-da! Okay, how's that for a smart response on a Friday morning? He's doing 3 different talks. He's doing one talk on Wednesday night. The Wednesday night talk is Into His Likeness, which is kind of the summary of the book that we've all been reading. So if you've been reading through the book, the talk on Wednesday night might not be as valuable. Thursday, his talk is In the Dust of the Rabbi, which is a bit of more of a follow-up to, and then Pope Francis and Parish Ministry. So there will be 3 different talks. Wednesday night is free, open to the public, free will collection. So bring money. Okay, so Manny, okay. So anyway, but go with your parishioners, go with your catechists and your volunteers on Wednesday night. Thursday is going to be more specific to the field of faith formation. So it's a smaller, more limited audience that's going to be more pertinent and practical. Okay, so thanks. Great question, Manny. Also, if you are not aware, our Pope just put out an amazing document that targets young people. If you are a professional in youth ministry and you have not read this yet, you do not go to sleep tonight until you have opened this up. So on the top of this here is, you might want to do a screenshot because it's a lot of letters and they don't all make sense. The hyperlink to this papal exhortation, I'm going to try saying it. Christus vivit alone. Anyway, I don't know how to speak Latin. So Christus vivit, Christ is alive. Those are the first words of the document. This is a document Pope Francis writes to young people, and he talks about youth ministry. He talks about engagement. He talks about their brokenness. He talks about the joys that they bring to our church. This is good stuff. Like I said, I'm hoping to digest it more and give you just the Cliff Notes of it. But if you look here, there's a working summary that's real quick. I think it's like 8 pages long. The other document is actually like 46 pages. Each again paragraph number, so it's pretty easy to kind of skim through and read through. but I would advise everybody who works with young people to make sure you are familiar with this document before you go back to work on Monday. Okay, so that's that. All right, I've been through a lot. Let's go questions. Anything NCYC, youth ministry in general, anything you've got questions about. Like I said, any changes to your group size, that's kind of the big thing at this point. Let me know as soon as you can. Go ahead and put the questions in the chat, by the way. It's the best way to do that. If you have raised your hand, I'm not going to call on you. So anyway, go put something in the chat. Other things to keep in mind, do be collecting forms, do be getting people registered into the group leader portal. If you're having any problems with that, please let me know as soon as you can, and we will clarify and assist you through that process. You are welcome, Catherine. Thank you. Yeah, good luck to Catherine and Marcio are both on this stream this morning. Both are expecting additions to their family in the next few weeks. So it should be a whole Easter new life kind of celebration. So best of luck to both of you women, and blessings for your, the fun that's coming. Don't teach your kids how to walk, because once they're mobile, they're horrible. I'm kidding. They're still lovely, but yeah, I had to say that. So any other questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat. Otherwise, that's the end of this. And if you're watching this and recording, there will be notes accompanying it soon. Due date is Tuesday. Oh my goodness, Catherine. Good luck. That's exciting. The target dates for adults to be the safe environment trained is probably tomorrow. Really, we do need to have everybody 100% compliant, Annie, by I think it's October. So we do want to have the dates in the system as you're putting them in. It just gets it through the way, and then we don't have to worry about the last minute stuff. But if you don't have those dates done, at this point, we're getting close enough to put them in and leave the dates blank, or if you can put them in and then get the safe environment coordinator dates, kind of put them in as soon as you can. But at this point, we do need them registered into the group leader portal. Even if you don't have any kind of compliance and they haven't done the training yet or haven't done a background check, get them in. They will not be able to go to NCYC unless they are fully compliant by October. But they will be able to be registered if they're not compliant, if that makes sense. Yeah, May 1st is coming up quick, but that's a great goal, Annie. I like that as a goal for getting all that safe environment stuff done. And everybody, thanks for the patience on this. This is our first year going through with the Catholic Mutual Group as our provider for safe environment stuff. It's a bit of a headache. It's just a new system to learn. I promise once you get fluent in the system, it becomes a little bit easier. But if you need to drop profanity every once in a while, like shucks and darn, and I'm sorry, I know it's Lent and I tried giving that up, but and discussions about this new process, I understand. We feel your pain. It's frustrating here too, but trust me, it will get easier the more we get into the system. So I appreciate your patience. I know it's a struggle, but thanks for your work on that. It's important. My gosh, right? It's important. So thanks for what you're doing for that. Okay, everybody's just talking about how cool it is to be born. Generally a true statement. So seeing no questions, I'm going to go ahead and end this. If you have any other follow-up questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to give us a call. We have a new phone system now, so I actually have caller ID for the first time in the 15 years that I've been working here. So I'll see that it's you, and I'll be able to answer the phone that way. So all right, very good. Have a good day, everybody. Any questions, email me or give me a call. We're here to help in any way we can. But thanks for all you do. I'm excited to be a part of this with you, and we are going to do a great thing in November, bringing our young people to this conference. And we're going to do even more work the day after when we introduce them again to the parish that loves them and keeps them going as disciples of Jesus. So thanks for all you do. And if there's anything we can do to help you, please let us know. All right. Have a great day. Bye-bye.